Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Python programming with my computer science teacher. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to convert this program into a program that checks to see how many grades they have that are more than a 7 or 7 or more. And if they have 2 or more grades that are 7 or more, then they're going to be accepted, okay? Because at the moment we're just checking if their grades for maths is more than 7 and their grades of English is more than 5, and then we accept them, and then we're printing out a list of accepted and declined. So I'm just going to get rid of this part here because I need to recreate this part of the program. I've got this for loop that loops through this pupil's name items. It's creating a loop essentially that's going to loop for as many times as we have students essentially. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to create a counter, okay? And the reason why I need a counter is because I need to count how many times I find a grade that is 7 or more, okay? So I'm going to create an if statement now. I'm going to say if that grade of I, open and close brackets, 0, which basically means that if this first grade here, I'm checking if that first grade at the moment, I now need to add the criteria for it. So if that first grade is more than or equal to 7, I am going to increase my counter by 1, because that means that I've now found a grade that is more than 7. Okay, so I'll just do counter equals counter plus 1. Okay, this is a very smart way of calculating how many items there are in a list, or how many times you found something that you're looking for. And then I'm just going to do the same thing again. So if grades, open and close brackets, I, open and close brackets, 0 is more than or equal to 7 again, then I'm going to use my counter again. Counter equals counter plus 1. Okay, I'm actually going to take that code now. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it just for time's sake. I'm going to change. Oh, this is a mistake here. Look, I don't want item 0. I'm checking the same thing. I don't want to check the same thing 3 times because then I'm going to get the wrong type of information. So I need to check their math grade, their English grade, sorry, their math grade, which is 1, and their science grade actually, which is 2. Okay, now if any of those grades essentially, if any of these are true, then obviously we're going to increase our counter, which is important next. The next step is to determine what the counter is. Okay, so if the counter is more than or equal to 2, then essentially you've been accepted, aren't you? Yeah, so I need to use that line of code to accept. So I'm going to take the accepted list, which is here, this empty list of accepted pupils. I'm going to take that accepted dot append, and I want to append a particular student, and in this case whichever student is in student I at the moment, which is Cine. So I'm going to say pupil names with a capital N, pupil names, open close brackets, I, whichever that student is that we're working with at the moment, they're going to be appended. However, if they haven't got 2 grades more than 7, then I'm going to put them on a declined list. So I'll take that code, I'll copy it here, and I'll change that, and I'll add them to the declined list. So now we're actually having a running program. The issue is this counter is never going to reset. So at the moment, when I run this code, yeah, there's going to be lots of people that will be accepted. I made a mistake here, so let's get rid of, I wrote accepted in the wrong place. I knew I wrote something somewhere that didn't make sense. Anyway, so now I've got my accepted list and everyone's been accepted. And that's just because for Cine, she has 1, 2 grades more than a 7 or 7 or more, which means that the counter is now equal to 2. Yeah, so then we're going to accept that person. But because nothing happens to counter's always going to be at 2. So when we're working with the next person, counter's still equal to 2, so therefore that person's going to be added 2. But what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to set the counter to 0 at the end of the program. I could do it here and here, but rather than doing it twice, I only need to do it once. Okay, I need to do it once, and I can just do that right at the end of the after the if statement, and say counter is going to get reset to 0. Okay, so now we're going to have a completely different list where not everybody's going to be accepted. So you can see that now Cindy has been accepted, Dan has been accepted, Haley's been declined, and Vlad has been declined. And that's because if we look at Haley and Vlad's list, they have a 6 in maths and a 4 in science, which means that they found only one grade that is more than 7 or equal to 7. Okay, that's Vlad, isn't it? And you'll notice that Dan got accepted, isn't it? Because he's got 9s for everything, yeah? And who's the other one that got declined? Haley. Haley has only one grade also that is more than 7. So you can see now that's how it works. I'm going through. If that's more than 7, no, not counter. That's more than 7, yes, counter. That's 7 or more, yeah, counter. And then we're increasing it one by one. But it's very important that you reset it, because the next student needs to start from a blank canvas. But yeah, that's how you use a counter. Give that a go. Use a different range of items if you want. A set of data. You can add more data into here and check if all of your grades are grade 9. If you're in a grade 9, then you could be a genius or something like that. Do you know what I mean? You can do whatever you want to your program, because this is your program and you're experimenting, you're learning. So yeah, give that a go, and see you on the next video.